Good afternoon, students. God grace, I hope that all of you are well. Now, today I am going to discuss about chapter 15 of Science class 9th. The topic is improvement in food resources. Student, here the two terms, one is improvement, another is food resources. So you should know about the improvement. What does mean the improvement? What does means food resources? So we start from first. The term improvement, it is related with the growth or increase in quality and quantity. So whatever the situation is previously present, now you should increase, or you just the way or the method by which we can enhances the quality and quantity. So improvement, it is related with the quality improvement and quantity improvement. Quality and quantity. So whenever it is related with the improvement about any resources, so we just trace out the quality improvement or quantity improvement. Now here the question is, what do you mean by the food resources? You know, the resources that are helpful for the mankind. Now the food and resources, why the food is a one type of resources? Because foods are most important things that are helpful for the living beings to sustain their life, to continue their life, to existing capacity of the life, that only possible by some sort of food energy. So that's why food is related with the resource. So resource is related with the mankind. So food is the substances, the food actual whole term, the food resources, that means the substances which provide all essential nutrients, metabolites, vitamins, etc. for the construction of protoplasm. So now the food is a resources in the sense for the life constructions of the life or the protoplasm. This is the physical basis of life. That means a single cell must be consist of some sort of protoplasm. So that's why protoplasm construction, whenever it is possible, then life can be sustained. That means our metabolic activity is possible. So that's why food is a most important things that are compared with the resources. So these food resources are most important for continuity or existing of life or survival capacity of life, that must be related with the improvement. So why improvement? Definitely the term improvement is we use this term whenever it is insufficient. So in case of any insufficient state or situation can be improved by some way or method. What are the different type of methods that are involved in a particular strategy for the improvement in quality and quantity of food resources? That is the discussion matter here. Now this improvement, quality and quantity, how you improve the food resources, we trace out that why such improvement is required. So why improvement? According to great philosopher and population ecologist, the Malthus theory or Robert Malthus theory explain that population grow in geometrical ratio, whereas food grow with arithmetical ratio. Here the population grow in geometrical ratio. What do you mean by geometrical ratio? That means, you know, that multiply, the rate of increasing as a multiply form or multiplication, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, like that. Whereas arithmetic ratio, additionally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So definitely the population grow in huge, whereas that in comparison with the population growth, it is very negligible, the growth of food. So definitely this extract of this theory, we just think about that whenever population continuously increase, so sufficient amount of food must be supplied. So how it can be possible? Through improvement. So that's why improvement is necessary or most important things about the increase in quality and quantity of food resources. In compare with the population growth, we should improve our the quality and quantity food, and it is possible by some scientific method or strategy. That's why this chapter is important, improvement in food resources. At present scenario, you know, the more than 1 billion population in India, that is a how it can be controlled. The sufficient amount of food should be supplied. So that is a observation in present scenario, that we should provide the sufficient amount of food by some technology improvement, by some use of technology or techniques. That is our strategy. You know, from before the 1940, the situation was such, not in such a condition, was not drastic, but present day, the excessive population explosion indicate that the crisis of food, that crisis can be minimized by some science, if application of science and technology in agricultural field. So we just trace out the improvement about the food. Now these food resources are two sources. There are two sources of food. One is plant food, another is animal food. So these are the major sources of food. These plant foods and animal foods both are related with the field of science which is related with the plant, about the growth of plant food, about the growth of animal food. These are related with the section of science that is called agricultural. So agricultural is a field where we can think about the how we can improve or enhance the quality and quantity of plant food and quality and quantity of animal food. These are the plant food resources through crop management or crop cultivation. There are so many plants. Why we talk about the crop? That crop management or the crop cultivation, the important plant group which supply the food, that are cultivated under the observation. Those are not utilizable plant, they are called wild plant group. They are not cultivated. But here we talk about the such plant group, those are the important sources for food resources. So we supply the plant food by the crop management and crop cultivation under the branch of science which is called agriculture. Now animal food, this is the sources of the plant animal that are under the group is livestock. So livestock management. So livestock management, whenever we can manage the livestock, then we can improve the quality and quantity of animal food. Now here the question is, what do you mean by livestock? Livestock are those animals which supply fish, food, meat, flesh, milk, egg, etc. Such type of animals are either cultivated domestically or in farming. So that's animal groups are collectively called animal food resources as known as livestock. So livestock management is most important for the enhancement of the animal food. Livestock management or animal husbandry is under the livestock management. That management is called animal husbandry. Now we talk about this branch of agriculture where we can improve the quality and quantity of both plant as well as animal food resources. Now we trace out how we can improve the plant food resources under the branch of agriculture. How we use the science and technology we avoid the traditional cultivation and improve the quality and quantity. Now here the question is, in Asia and particularly in India, our most of the cultivated lands are used for agricultural purpose. So that means it is called intensive culture. So we are already use the maximum land. So intensive culture and the production is not sufficient. So before 1940, that was a critical period whenever the sufficient foods are not possible. So that's why our scientists and in international group of management, they think about how we can improve the quality and quantity of food with the specific area of cultivation. So intensive culture is a cultivations whenever maximum land used for agricultural purpose, then such cultivation is called intensive culture. Whereas this intensive culture not sufficient. So agriculturally intensive cultivation or culture not sufficient. So how we can improve this condition? By some improvement, by some strategy. So after the observation of intensive culture, we find out some sort of methods on where we can use the science and technology. So 1940 to 1970, there was a great revolution on the field of agriculture, particularly for the supply of food grain. So there are a number of revolution is related in the agricultural field, which each and every revolutions are their target point was how intensive, although the intensive cultivation is already doing, but it is not sufficient. So how we can improve the quality and quantity food through some use of science and technology. That was our aims. And from 1940 to 1970, the first revolution start. That revolution was related with the Green Revolution. So there are a number of revolution. So 1940 to 1990s, the most of the revolution, our purpose was how we can improve the quality and quantity of food resources. So we are going to stress out some sort of revolutions with the agricultural field. Agricultural revolution. So revolution is in the sense now change the state, that is the methods the way or strategy by which we can improve quality and quantity by changing the situation. That's any change which is for improvement or for the present condition, that is related with the revolution. So here it is agricultural revolution means for improvement of the quality and quantity of food resources which are related with the cultivation or agricultural purpose. So the first revolutions we talk about that is the number of revolutions. Here it is a revolutions related with the revolution types of food or agricultural purpose. The person or father of this field which started such revolution. Number of revolution. I already give a study material about the details of such revolution where I discuss the different type of revolutions. But we talk about here the some sort of revolutions. Number 1, Green Revolution. The purpose of green revolutions to improve the quality and quantity of food grain. So the target was the food grain. How we can develop the food grains? Definitely pulses, cereals. These are the most important. Wild seeds, food vegetables. There are so many plant products that are supply the different type of resources, food resources. We talk about here the food grains. The cereals, pulses, wild seeds are very important. That's the related was related with the Green Revolution. So types of food of agricultural purpose, definitely cereals, pulses. So paddy under this cereal, paddy, rice, wheat, like that, maize, etc. So persons are related with this particular field. That's international level, in world level. The persons who start the such revolution, the father of revolutions was actual Norman Borlaug. Whereas in India, world level, M.S. Swaminathan. They are the persons, they use the science and technology and improve the quality and quantity of food grains production. So number of revolution I talk about. The White Revolution. Revolution related with the milk. So milk is a livestock management. So definitely it is animal product, animal food resources. That's the persons, the milk, the supply the milk for the particular first times, the milk resources, the white revolutions, that is related with the Varghese Kurin. The world level persons is related with the milk production. Number 3, Blue Revolution. The revolution is related with the fish production. So fish production, fish also, it is a livestock management. So Blue Revolutions is Dr. Arun Krishnan, Indian. Next, let's say related with this livestock management. Now the pink revolutions are, this is another agricultural product, pink revolution. Onion, the onion productions, improvement of the onion productions, as well as prawn production also. the person Durges Patel. Prawn, this is one type of arthropods, crustacean, that also supply the food resources. So this onion is a plant, whereas prawn is animal product. Now the pink, there are number of revolution. There is a silver revolution, silver revolutions is related with this. The silver in the sense that is not, it is related with the colors, the eggs and poultry management. Poultry production. So they supply the animal food products. So also lie under the livestock production. You know, this is the Prime Minister of India, that was the period, Indira Gandhi. Start such revolution. So there are number of revolutions. I already given the assignment and notes that's about the different type of revolution. Now the most popular revolutions that's our present day scenery, that is Evergreen Revolution. Presently we are talking about Evergreen Revolution. In that means it is not only the particular food production, but overall agricultural product can be managed to improve the quality and quantity. The evergreen production, Evergreen Revolution. The Evergreen Revolution's overall agricultural products. That's the 11th 5 years plan. 11th 5 years plan is the first time introduced such Evergreen Revolution under the guidance of M.S. Swaminathan. This is the present day position about the overall agricultural products can improve the quality and quantity, that is possible by some science and technology can improve involvement. So this is the strategy of agricultural revolution. Now here the question: this agricultural revolution, they are sufficient? This type of revolution is sufficient for the production of food? No. That's why we further talk about the improvement in food resources. So here we trace out the food, plant foods and animal food and livestock. So the proper management. Now this improvement of food resources can be possible by some modern science and technological process. This is the crop management. The strategy of crop management. So before the strategy of crop management, we number of times we did trace out the crop. That's our cultivated plant group. For the supply of food resources. These crops can be grouping under the seasonal variation, on the basis of seasonal variation. There are two types of crops. One is Kharif crop. These are also known as rainy season crop, seasonal crop, or monsoon crop, whereas another is Rabi crop or winter crop. The periodically these Rabi crop, Kharif crops, this is June to October, whereas November to April. This is the seasonal duration. So these June to October and November to April, this month are the most popular for the cultivations of crop. So kharif crops that are grow in huge amount of water, that sufficient water is required, whereas rabi crop the trace amount of water can possible to grow them such a November to April. So these kharif crops and rabi crops under the groups, these kharif crops are definitely the paddy like rice, some pulses, maize, millet, etc. These are the group that require the huge amount of water, whereas mostly pulses supply the huge amount of protein. That's are the what particular groups, pulses, oil seeds. This group are the basically under the rabi crops, but in case of wheat also, these are wheat supply a huge amount of the proteins also. That's are carbohydrates and protein also source. So these are the group of plants under the crops, different type of two type of crop on the basis of seasonal variation. Now we talk about the categories of the crop, different type of categories of the crops. These crops are categorized on the basis of their food resources. So the crops are on the basis of the food supplement, crops on the basis of food supplement. Types of crops, group the example of the plant group, types of food resources, types of food supply. Number 1, cereals, the food grains, those supply the food grains. So this group of plants are related with the cereal or the cultivations of the plant groups. Just you know, cereals are the wheat, rice, maize, etc. The supply is the carbohydrate. Number 2, pulses. There is a protein sources that definitely that pulses groups are lentil. There are different type of grams, groundnut or grams, PGMP, some grams. They are sources of protein. Number 3, oil seed. Mustard, sunflower, soybean, etc. Fat, sources of fat. Number 4, vegetable and fruits, various types. Vegetable and fruits, various types of vegetable, also some spice, also the sources of vitamins, minerals. These are the fourth group. Then fifth group, fooder crops. Actual fooder crops, the crops which are supply the food for domestic animals, or that's a cultivated animal. They supply such type of foods, fooder crops. So that's there are different type of plants group, and they are growing in the particular purpose, just for different type of plants. Supply food for domesticated animal. So these are the different type of crops. Now these are on the basis of the two categories we define the crops. Now the crops are the how you can improve this strategy, the strategy for crop improvement. We discuss the point. So crops are the cultivated plant groups which grow for the supply of food materials. Now strategy for crop improvement. This point, the next video, I am going to discuss about the strategy for crop improvement. What are the different strategy of crop improvement? So we first of all we trace out the crop variety improvement. So there are three parameters of discussion. One is crop variety improvement. Second one, nutrients management, or the improvement in the qualities of the plant groups. Actually, these are the crop improvements. That is a crop variety improvement, crop production improvement. Production improvement. And third points, that is a most important points, the how we can protect the plant. So crop protection management. So these three parameters are most important under the strategy. They depend on some factor. That factors actually responsible for this crop management strategy. The factors are, we always trace out the variety, crop production management, and crop protection management. These three parameters depend on the number of factors. What are the different type of factors that are responsible for crop variety improvement, crop production improvement, crop protection management? So that I discuss in later on in the next video. Thank you.